Imagine you are mopping floors for a living. No degree, no title, no office. Just a mop, a uniform, and a building full of people who do not even know your name. Now imagine you walk into that same building one day and pitch an idea that changes the entire snack industry forever. That is not a movie plot. That actually happened. This is Richard Montanez, the janitor who invented Flamin Hot Cheetos. And almost nobody knows his name. Richard Montanez grew up in a labor camp in California. His family were migrant farm workers. They picked grapes. They picked oranges. They did whatever work they could find. Richard never learned to read properly. He dropped out of school young, and by the time he was a grown man, the best job he could get was as a janitor at a Frito-Lay factory in Rancho Cucamonga, California. He mopped floors. He cleaned machines. He took out trash. That was his life. But Richard was not the kind of man who just showed up and went home. He paid attention. He watched how the factory worked. He studied the machines. He listened to conversations he was never invited into. And one day, everything changed. Frito-Lay CEO sent out a company-wide video message. He said he wanted every single employee to think like an owner, to bring ideas, to innovate, to act like the company was theirs. Most employees heard that and did nothing. Richard heard it and took it literally. He went home that night and started thinking. He thought about his neighborhood. He thought about the food he grew up eating. Spicy food, bold flavors, the kind of heat that hits you in the back of the throat. And he looked at a plain Cheeto. No seasoning, no spice, just corn and air. And he thought, what if it was spicy? Richard went to a local store and bought chili powder. He took a bag of plain Cheetos home, and he started experimenting in his kitchen. He mixed, he tasted, he adjusted. His wife helped him season them. His kids tested them. And when they tasted the final version, they went crazy. Richard knew he had something. But here is where most people would have stopped. Most people would have thought, I am just a janitor. Who is going to listen to me? Not Richard. He called the office of the CEO of Frito-Lay directly. Let that sink in. A janitor called the CEO of one of the biggest food companies in America and asked for a meeting. They said yes. Richard had never given a business presentation in his life. So he borrowed a suit. He bought a briefcase from a thrift store. And he practiced his pitch over and over in front of a mirror. He drove to the headquarters, walked into a room full of executives, and presented his idea. Spicy Cheetos, built for the Latino community. A market Frito-Lay had almost completely ignored. He brought his homemade version in a bag. He passed it around the room. The executives tasted it, and they loved it. Frito-Lay launched Flamin Hot Cheetos in 1991. It was not an instant explosion, but it grew. Slowly at first, then fast, then unstoppable. Today, Flamin Hot Cheetos is one of the best-selling snacks on the planet. It generates over $1 billion in sales every single year. $1 billion. From an idea that started in a janitor's kitchen, with chili powder from a corner store. Richard did not stay a janitor. Frito-Lay promoted him, then promoted him again. He eventually became a vice president at PepsiCo. The man who used to mop the floors ended up in the boardroom. He has spoken at Harvard Business School. He has advised Fortune 500 companies. His story has been turned into a Hollywood film, but most people still do not know his name. They just know the snack. Here is what Richard Montanez's story is really about. It is not about Cheetos. It is about what happens when someone refuses to accept the ceiling other people put on them. Richard had every reason to keep his head down. No degree, no experience, no connections, no money. But he had something a lot of people with all of those things do not have. He paid attention. He acted when everyone else hesitated. And he walked into rooms he was never supposed to be in. The CEO said, "Think like an owner." Richard was the only one who actually did. That is the difference between people who change industries and people who just work in them. A janitor walked into Frito-Lay headquarters with a borrowed suit and a thrift store briefcase, and walked out having changed snack history forever. Nobody gave him permission. Nobody handed him the opportunity. He created it himself. That is Founder Zero energy. If this story hit different, subscribe. Every week we find another founder nobody talks about. Same energy, different story. See you next week.